welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. I'm Mark. Let's go with y'all. Go check out my other videos. Check them out. Check them out. But first, stay on this one. So this is going to be a new little series I'm starting. So as you can tell just by that word series, there will be more than one part or even episode of this. I haven't decided how I'm going to label that part exactly. And why will I be doing multiple? Because there's a ton of guns out there in the world. That's just the truth of the matter here. So let's get right into it. First episode of 3 guns that are better for home defense than concealed carry. Now, I'm going to give you guys a couple of reasons why these guns are better for home defense than concealed carry in particular. And as you can imagine, these are all going to be full-size handguns. This is strictly just about handguns, obviously, so there's no, shortcuts with, shotguns or, ARs or any kind of rifles or any kind of, you know what I mean? There's no shortcuts being taken here. So let's get right into it. For starters, one of the most known guns on the planet, the Glock 17. Now, the Glock 17 is a pretty damn solid gun. It is extremely reliable. It is actually the first model of Glock that was ever released. It started with the 17, then the 18, then the 19. Not here to get into the history of the Glock 17. However, what I am here to do is talk about a couple of things, regarding the Glock 17, what it does have, the size that it generally is. And if you guys want more information about the Glock 17, by all means, I do have a review on it. So go check it out. Check it out. I got a review on a Gen 4 Glock 17. So for starters, the Glock 17 has a great capacity. Of course it does. It is a full-size 9mm with a double-stack magazine. It is going to have a solid capacity. There's no doubt about it. However, its size is, not exactly optimal for concealed carry. Now, I know there are exceptions to this case where, for example, if you're maybe wearing a jacket like I am right now, it might be easier for you to conceal carry a full-size gun. There are even some people that they can just conceal carry a full-size gun without an issue. You know what I mean? I'm sure that there are those people out there. There are exceptions to the general rule. However, there is a general rule for a reason. Back to what I was saying. While it having a great capacity with 17+1 of 9mm, it of course is not going to be a small handgun. And that's where it kind of runs into an issue for concealed carry. You're worrying about, on top of, okay, maybe, other people who are extremely anti-Second Amendment might want to start some bullshit, see my gun printing. Like, there's been situations where people literally have just reached up on the top shelf to grab something at the grocery store. Some dumb bitch decided, oh, I see his gun that he's concealed carrying right there. Let me go ahead and call the police on him. Lie. So he pulled the gun out on me. I'm telling you, this has happened before. And it's a really shitty situation. It's something that only really shitty people do. However, there are really shitty people out there in the world. So let's ignore just the anti-Second Amendment crowd aspect of it. On top of what you have to worry about when you are carrying a larger gun like the Glock 17, for example, is simply because of its size and the printing that might be left because of it. And if you guys don't know what printing is, it's essentially just the imprint of your gun on the outside of your clothing, essentially how concealable it is. That leads you to more likely run into, now, once again, this is not a guarantee, of course, but that also leads you to having a higher chance of having to deal with somebody who's like, okay, yeah, this guy has a gun. Let me try to figure out a way to take this gun from him. There are stupid people like that out there. That's just simply the truth of the matter here. Now, when I say that this gun is simply better for home defense than concealed carry, it's not the best for concealed carry simply due to its size. When it comes to home defense or concealed carry, it doesn't change the aspect of the reliability of the gun. It doesn't change the aspect of what you can do with the gun. It doesn't change any of that. So that's not what I'm here to debate about. I'm not saying that magically, these guns are just more reliable for home defense. They are just more optimal for home defense. With the Glock 17, you get a rail so you can attach a light to it. I believe they actually stopped making their Gen 5 MOS variants, or not variants, models, excuse me. their Gen 5 MOS models, which is pretty damn dumb. But if they didn't, and you can still find one, you know, you can get a red dot on it. You know, you can get a 33 round mag that's made by Glock themselves, so you know it's going to function in your Glock handgun. Overall, it just seems like a much better option for home defense than concealed carry, especially due to it being a full size. Out of every size Glock that you're going to shoot, it's more likely than not going to be the most comfortable for you, just due to the fact that it's full size, so the recoil is going to be the lightest. Now, moving on. This is a gun that's actually on my list to get. I mean, the Glock 17 also is on my list to get. However, this is a gun that I, want to get, have no experience with. However, I do know a good bit about it, watched and learned a lot about it, because I do plan on getting it sometime in the future. And I would love to do a review for y'all on this. The FNX 45. Man, if you guys have seen the FNX 45, you know damn well that is a badass gun. So, simply due to its size and weight, it is not going to be optimal for concealed carry. That's just the truth of the matter here. On top of the weight of the firearm itself, because it's not on the light side of guns. It's not super heavy. However, if we're talking concealed carry, it's definitely not going to be, your best option when we're talking low weight. On top of that, it is 15 plus 1 of 45 ACP. 45 ACP is a chunky round. It's not exactly light like 9mm is, for example. And hold on, I do want to take one step back real quick before I continue on with the FNX 45. I do want to say this also goes for, my first option, or my first choice in this case, goes for all full-size Glocks. Not just, the Glock 17 in particular, the Glock 17, the Glock 20, the Glock 21, the Glock 22, all of them, and, as far as what I'm seeing, are not the most optimal to carry simply due to their size. Now, with that being said, I wanted to point that out because that is something that I didn't want to forget to mention. My choice for Glock 17, that's just the most common out of all of them. However, that does go for all full-size Glocks. That doesn't change magically because it's a different model and it's still full size. Back to what I was saying about the FNX 45. Oh man, if you have seen anything about this gun, you know it is a pretty damn solid gun. A great capacity for 45 as well. For example, the FNX 45 is a full-size 45 ACP gun, as you guys already know, with a 15 plus 1 capacity, while the Glock 21 is Glock's full-size 45 ACP and only gets a capacity of 13 plus 1. So you see what I mean here? When it has a great capacity, especially for 45 ACP, a really great capacity. Comes with a threaded barrel, single double action. So I'm pretty sure there's also a decocker on it. So you got a lot of really good options here. You know what I mean? It's really damn cool. I'm not going to lie. One of the cool things about it, realistically, is that since it does come with a threaded barrel and it's chambered in 45 ACP, let's say, because there are bills that apparently are being pushed around right now. Do not quote me on this. Apparently, there are bills that are being pushed around right now to hopefully remove suppressors off the NFA, which would be amazing. Amazing. Oh my God, that would be awesome. But if that does happen, without having to pay a tax stamp, because, who wants to pay a tax stamp in all reality? As I was saying, though, since it does come with a threaded barrel and it's chambered in 45 ACP, which is already a naturally subsonic round, oh man, Suppressor City. It is going to be like a dream. You will be able to defend your home without having to worry about ear damage. Are you kidding me? Dude, that is fire. That is dope. That is awesome. All right, I will be the first person to say that while I am not a big fan of paying, tax stamps, I'm not a big fan of, honestly, not a big fan of the NFA or the ATF in all reality. You guys know this. I will say that suppressors are still really damn cool. There's no doubt about it. What they do is pretty damn cool. Now, as I mentioned before, it's simply due to its size. The FNX 45 is just not optimal for concealed carry. The barrel is too long, in my opinion. It has too blocky of a grip. It's just too fat of a gun as well, But is it a damn good home defense gun? Hell yeah, it would be. Like, I'll be honest, when I get mine, that's probably what I'm going to use mine for, as a home defense gun. I know that's a big roll of the dice there, is that, if suppressors are removed from the NFA, or if the NFA just gets repealed, that would also be cool. But regardless, getting off topic here. Moving on from the FNX 45, which, of course, I don't know if I mentioned this before, on the FNX 45, you got a rail on there so you can throw a light on there. I'm not 100% certain if they do come out with MOS models or not. That is something I would have to look more into. Because it would be pretty damn cool, you know, if you could also throw a dot on there without having to send it off to a gunsmith. So back to, you know, the list here. All right. Number 3 is any of the full-size Beretta M9 variants. Why? It is for a gun that you would be considering for concealed carry. One of the things that you want to go for is light, small. If you notice, none of these handguns have fit that category. You want a great capacity for a small size. While these all offer pretty damn good capacities, especially the FNX 45 for it being in 45 ACP, they're too large of handguns. They oftentimes are too heavy. You know, as I said before, I know there are some people who are like, hey, well, I carry this full-size gun. I'm sure there's going to be some douchebag who's like, oh, yeah, well, I carry a Desert Eagle chambered in 50 AE. You know, whatever. I really don't care about that. However, the truth of the matter is that for a majority of the people on the planet that carry firearms, they want to carry one that is smaller, lighter, and as concealable as possible with as good of a capacity as possible while being as concealable as possible. I know that was a mouthful there, but let's get back to what I was saying though about the Beretta M9 variants. They are decently heavy handguns. They're not super heavy. Of course, you guys got to remember, it's a handgun. It's not super heavy. It's not going to be anywhere near compared to like, you know, a shotgun or rifle in weight or anything along those lines. However, it is something that is going to be hanging on your pants. I don't know about you guys. I do a job that requires me to move around a lot. You know, it's not the job I used to have where I was sitting in a chair all day, you know, in an office chair. This job I do requires me to move around a lot more. So when I'm moving around, the last thing I want to worry about is having to keep readjusting my pants and having to pull them up a little bit more just because the weight of the gun is so damn heavy that it weighed the shit down. I don't want to deal with that. I don't know about you guys, but I truthfully don't, especially considering that I don't carry appendix carry. So, you know what I mean? I will say, you know, if you guys have watched the channel, you guys know I carry strong side. I don't mind explaining that. A couple of reasons why, but I'm not going to get into that. That's a topic for a whole nother video. The weight of the gun is a big deal when it comes to concealed carry. That's just the truth of the matter here. Now, another thing as well is, you know, a lot of people are like, okay, well, you know, you get a larger gun, regardless of how heavy the gun is, you at least would be getting a higher capacity, right? Well, not really. There are some guns that I personally wouldn't use for home defense or even concealed carry, like your standard single stack 45 ACP 1911s. You see what I mean? So while all of these examples that I've listed, you know, offer great capacities, and as I mentioned before, it would be great for home defense. With the Beretta M9 variants, you have a ton of different models. You have a ton of different choices to choose from. You can get a threaded barrel with it. With some of them, you can even, I'm pretty damn sure you can get a red dot on some of your Berettas. My whole point is that the Beretta M9 variants as a whole are phenomenal guns. They're great home defense guns, single double action, hammer fire guns. They are phenomenal. If you guys don't know much about them, I also did a review on a Beretta maybe a little over a year ago. My whole point though is just that while all of these guns are great for home defense, they are phenomenal guns. Excuse me. Well, they're all phenomenal guns with great capacities and some pretty solid calibers for handguns. They're not good for concealed carry. That's just the truth of the matter here. The main reasons why simply fall under just the size, the weight, and, you know, truthfully speaking, if you're going to, you know, say, oh yeah, well, I'm not worried about the size or the weight, simply just the printing would be enough for me to be like, you know what, maybe I should get something smaller, something that's a little less obvious to everyone else that I have a gun on me. The whole point of concealed carry is for it to be concealed. I don't mean you just throw a rag over it and, you know, you can still see the imprint of it. You don't want people to know you have it at all. Now, with that being said, as I said before, this will be a multi-part series because there are just a ton of guns in the world, and a lot of them, or at least a ton of guns, a ton of handguns in the world, and a lot of them are going to be better for home defense than concealed carry. Of course, I'm going to be starting, another series where I'm doing it essentially just inverted, guns that are better for concealed carry than home defense. And that will also be a multi-part series. So, keep looking forward for part 2s and whatnot, but with that being said, y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all and I don't even care if you guys agree with me or not. I know there are going to be some people who completely disagree with me. They're like, oh, well, I carry my Beretta M9 all the time. Oh, well, I carry my full-size Glock. Oh, well, I carry my FNX 45. I really don't care personally because the truth of the matter is that it's not the most optimal choice. With that being said, y'all make sure... Wait, did I just... Yes, I did. With that being said, y'all make sure to stay legal. Sorry, it's been a long night, y'all. With that being said, y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.